Hey y'all, it's Kim. So I had to suffer through quite a bit of this interview with MSNBC and Kamala Harris, and then whoever this lady is like Haley Jackson or something. Before we get into it, I do want to show y'all the comments. So I was thinking, oh, I wonder what people are saying about this because it's a typical interview with her. She just goes on, and it's the same word salads and let me be clear and all this other stuff. And anyway, I can't tell how many actual dislikes it has. Of course, I put on there like or dislikes, but let's see. So it has 367,000 views on one day ago, and they have 10.5 million subscribers and 6.1 or well 6,000 likes. So doesn't that say ratio to you? I don't know how many actual dislikes they have on here. I can't see them. But either way, so basically she's sitting down talking to this lady. And here's a comment that says, whenever Kamala starts with, let me be very clear, you know she's about to drop the most vague statement ever uttered by a politician. It says the comment section here restores some of my faith in the wisdom and intelligence of the United States. If you've seen one Kamala interview, you've seen them all. I would rather vote for this reporter. She says she is concerned and listens to the people. Over 70% of the people want the border closed. Why is she not listening? Just once, I want a reporter to ask, by offering $25,000 assistance for first time home buyers, aren't you creating inflation in the housing market when sellers add an extra 25,000 onto the price? I'm a realtor, but I don't think that's necessarily how it works. But either way, it would still cause inflation if the government's taking tax money or anything else, however they dip into all these pots of money that's tax money and does anything. Basically, they can't give you anything without taking from somebody else. So either way, it doesn't matter. It's still going to cause more spike in taxes and everything else, and we'll never pay it off. And then anyway, she totally knew Joe was losing his marbles. She is not honest. This was so painful to watch. Great job, NBC, for calling her out on not answering questions. This was her hardest interview yet. And then it says, glad the comments aren't as brainwashed as the TV viewers. She said Donald or Donald Trump 58 times. Kamala, let's be clear, reporter. But the question was, when did Donald Trump said he would terminate the Constitution? California already has price gouging laws, which she called them price gauging. It says, how are you going to reduce prices in California? No answer. Supporting Kamala Harris requires denying reality. I mean, I'm down probably about what 15 comments and they're all negative. Why she's still talking about Trump like she wasn't in office for 4 years. It's amazing to me to see how many lies she tells with the same old script. It is a lot of same talking points. So she wants millions of new homes. Who will get in those homes, Americans or migrants? And then when VP Harris says, let me be clear on anything, it's about as clear as a glass of muddy water. She says, let me be very clear, I will not be a continuation of Joe Biden. But when asked on The View, what will you do differently than Joe Biden? She said, not a thing comes to mind. I have been a part of the important decisions that have had impact. Trump 2024. Yeah, I voted for Trump today. Happy voting, everyone. Kamala, you have 4 years to fix all this mess you and Joe Biden caused, or Biden caused. I'm ready for a woman of courage and character like Tulsi Gabbard to be president. Whatever. A woman who talks about democracy but never received one vote to be the presidential candidate. Oh, the hypocrisy. I need to like that one. I mean, there's just negative after negative. It's like nothing's positive. Let's see. Says, I'm extremely surprised yet satisfied how great this interviewer pressed her on so many issues. She even prefaced her questions so she wouldn't weasel her way out with the same old empty answer she's given before. This interview definitely shed light on how unqualified she is for the presidency. See, I mean, they're not. I mean, people aren't as dumb as the media wants you to think. And I just think it's amazing that we actually have some people out here with some sense in their head. Because it seems like if you look at the left, oh, everybody's all in for all this abortion and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, I mean, but not everybody goes for that. So, you know, ultimately it's up to the states. And I mean, that's not really, I mean, how often does stuff like that happen? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not into all that. I'm totally pro-life, whatever. Get mad. I don't care. But this lady, I mean, she has no children, so she really doesn't have like a lot of empathy anyway. Anytime she talks about giving a tax credit of $6,000 to people, it's like, okay, that's a tax write-off. It's not an actual $6,000 in your account. I mean, you may get it back, but it's probably taxes they already taken from you anyway. And then you get more money when you have children. So there's a lot of stuff in her policy plans or whatever you want to call them that's just not beneficial to the American people. But I'll play a little bit of this. I can only sit through so much of her cringy word salads. I just, ugh. Anyway. It's the same talking point. So if if you've seen one, you've seen them all. Ugh, let's start.
Thank you, Madam Vice President, for your time.
I'm glad to be with you. Thank you.
We were just talking about the campaign trail yesterday and these key Rust Belt battlegrounds, as they call them, talking with undecided voters. You are reaching out that olive branch to these voters. You want to bring them on board.
I'm going to make this a big screen, okay? So you all see it better.
Them, for so many voters, we know that a huge issue for them is the economy.
Right.
It's the cost of living. I've been on the campaign trail. I hear that in the field again and again. You look at some of the numbers on this, and our new NBC News poll shows that more voters think that the Biden administration policies have hurt them rather than helped them. And I wonder, are the last 4 years an obstacle to you in this race?
Here's how I look at it. First of all, let me be very clear. Mine will not be a continuation of the Biden administration. I bring my own experiences, my own ideas to it, and it has informed a number of my areas of focus, most of which are, on to your point, lowering costs. I have been traveling the country. I am very clear. Cost of groceries still too high. The voters know it. I know it. So part of my plan includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries, including the work I will do dealing with price gouging, something I dealt with when I was Attorney General, something I will deal with going forward. Cost of housing. You know, I'm speaking with people of every background in every area of the country, of every age. And, you know, the idea of the American dream was something that previous generations could count on, not as much anymore. Bringing down the cost of housing by doing what I have done in my career that perhaps is a different approach, which is really actively working with the private sector, for example, home builders, to create incentives for them to build millions of new homes and housing units so we can bring down the cost, including.
And that person in one of the comments did have a good point. It's like, who is going to be eligible for these homes? Is it going to be people, you say first-time home buyers, but does that mean people only in a certain demographic, a certain income bracket? I mean, who's going to be benefiting from these houses? You may build all this stuff, but only certain people, because you're trying to buy votes, ultimately, is going to qualify for this stuff. I mean, so things like this you have to really think about, and that's just going to compound the debt, y'all. I mean, I don't think people are really, I don't think she knows what she's talking about. I mean, I just don't see how this is going to benefit anybody. But I mean, I'm not an expert economist, but I just don't see how adding probably billions or trillions to the debt. I mean, we don't know how many people are going to qualify for these so-called homes. And then, of course, because it's government sponsored housing, you know, it's going to be some kind of there's going to be a catch to it. That's, I mean, I don't know what it is, but there's some kind of a catch to it. Anyway, just know it's not going to be straightforward. Like if you and your spouse make $100,000 a year, you're not going to be able to just go bid on this house. There's going to be some kind of loophole. You're not eligible for it, but somebody that makes 50,000, because I've seen that here in the Texas area, where there's people that they could qualify for a home, but these specific homes were in a neighborhood where you had to make below a certain amount of money. Let's just put it that way. That's kind of what I think is going to happen here. So it's going to be some kind of government subsidy. There's going to be regulations and all kinds of craziness attached to it. But just know that going into it, if you vote for this crazy woman, this is what's going to happen.
And what I will do to give people a $25,000 down payment assistance if they are a first-time home buyer. So these are examples. The example is what I'm going to do to expand the child tax credit, because listen, young parents in particular, they need help. They have a natural desire to parent.
A tax credit, it's not going to be money that's just given to you like a cent in a check. You're going to have to file your taxes, and then they'll give you this credit. Listen to her words. Tax credit means you have to file first, give them the baby social security number, then you'll get money back. The government cannot give you anything without first taking it from somebody else. Somebody else has paid taxes on that money. And now they're going to try to give it to you. And then you're going to pay again. And it's just a continuous cycle. And that's how they fund the government, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So just know these words that she's using, you just have to pick up on it.
Their children well, but not always the resources. $6,000 extra during the first year of their child's life can help them buy a crib or a car seat or clothes, the things that are so crucial to that phase of their child's development. So my plans and my policies are really directed at exactly your point, doing what we must do to bring down the cost of living, but also to help people not just get by, but get ahead. And I'm proud to report to you that economists from Nobel laureates to Goldman Sachs have reviewed my economic plan versus Donald Trump's, and in comparison have found that my plans will strengthen America's economy. His plans will weaken America's economy. And why do you think that?
So under the Biden-Harris administration, we basically have to hit rock bottom, and then she's going to come in and save us. Is that kind of how this works? I mean, I don't see. Yeah, I mean, we're ugh. This lady. Now she wants to be the hero. She wants to get everybody ahead and basically make everybody even. No, that's not how that works.
It's not landing with voters.
Oh, but
Because
I
in the
think it
numbers,
is.
it's the opposite. Former President Trump leads you on this issue.
Well, when I'm out, this is why I'm going out to Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan,
yeah.
excuse me. Just got in late this morning, actually.
And she was giving Trump a hard time about him looking tired and exhausted the other day on some rally or something, talking noise about him. But he's running circles around her. I mean, he's what, 80 or something, 78, 79? I don't know. He's old, but I mean, he's still doing all these rallies and stuff like that. And he's still keeping up. So, I mean, she's done what, 3? But how many months was she not doing anything? 40 something days, 60 something. I mean, she just sat in the basement strategizing about how she was going to come out. Yeah. And now she's exhausted. And she took what, 2 days off? Okay, cool.
But going to 3 states yesterday, and I'm going to continue being on the road. I have to earn the vote. And it means sharing with folks my plan, but also offering them what objective analysts have shown to be the contrast between me and Donald Trump. My plans are focused on working people, the middle class, and what we must do to strengthen hardworking people to be able to do what they dream and aspire to be able to do. His plans are about giving tax cuts, massive tax cuts to billionaires and big corporations. His so-called plan for the economy, economists have estimated, will exacerbate inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. So there's a huge difference between he and I.
Let me ask you about something that you said when you were running for president the last time around, back in 2019. At the time, you said that the elephant in the room was whether the country was ready for a woman and a woman of color to be president. So let me ask you, as you sit here today, do you think the country is ready now for a woman and a woman of color to be president?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I would choose a woman if she's qualified. I don't feel like that this woman's qualified. I wouldn't vote for Democrat anyway. And I'm not saying that I'm hardcore Republican, but I sure wouldn't vote for Democrat because they don't align with nothing I have going on in my life. No way. There are certain things that are just held to the no, not ever going to happen. This lady is going to push us into like socialism and then all the way to communism if we're not careful and we get her away from the White House. Because she'll use executive actions to get everything she's ever wanted. And she hates America, and you can just tell it. I don't care what anybody says. You know she hates America. But whatever. We'll see how this election shakes out. But I really am worried about her getting in office. Because this lady's nuts. She's dangerous, unstable. All the things she says about Donald Trump. She has so many wacky ideas. And her father was a Marxist. So you tell me, if you don't know anything about Marxism, go look it up. It's about the oppressed and the oppressors. That's it. So you just go look those up, read up on it, because you're about to experience it if she gets in there. Anyway, ugh.
Absolutely. And I am saying that in terms of every walk of life of our country, you know, I think part of what is important in this election is really not only turning the page, but closing the page and the chapter on an era that suggests that Americans are divided. What I know from personal experience, from lived experience, and from my travels, even most recently, the vast majority of us have so much more in common than what separates us. And what the American people want in their president is a president for all Americans, which is the type and kind of president I pledge to be. This is my life's work. As you know, I started as a prosecutor. I never asked a victim of crime, a witness to crime, are you a Republican or Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them is, are you okay? And that's what the American people want to know, regardless of their race, regardless of their gender or their age. They want to know that they have a president who sees them and understands their needs and focuses on their needs, understanding we all deserve to have a president who is focused on solutions and not just fanning the flames of division and hate.
You've been reluctant to lean into, to talk about the historic nature of your candidacy on the campaign trail. Why is that?
I don't care about making history. I mean, I know some people do. That's why they're going to vote for her, because she'd be the first woman of color, whatever the color is supposed to be. But that doesn't matter to me. Policy is where things check out for me. I want to know that we're going to have somebody that's capable, that can go and squash some of these wars that's going on, or whatever you want to call them, all these fights around the world. Sit down with world leaders that's serious, that's not going to be cackling. I mean, supposedly Putin said that her laugh was infectious. I'm sorry, she has an infection or something. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's like a damn hyena. I don't care about all that stuff. There's a time for seriousness, and then there's a time to joke, and this is very serious. We don't need all this jokey joke stuff, because I even saw her on that CNN thing, and she was kind of doing her stupid laugh there too. We don't need all of that unseriousness in the White House. Get the job done. Stop with your little goofy laugh. I mean, I don't care about all the giggling and all this stuff. I don't want a girl, somebody called it a girl moment. I don't want all that. I want serious when it comes to all this crap. And I think everybody else does too, that's got like a real serious outlook of how this election is that important, and you really value America, and you want to see what's like our country do great. I mean, you can't take care of your country I mean, you can't take care of other people's countries unless yours is in like order. So anyway, it's like taking care of somebody else's house and yours is on fire. We can't do all this stuff. We need somebody that's going to stop sending money to overseas or whatever. Anyway, there's just so much with this Biden Harris administration. It's just disgusting. Hey y'all, I just wanted to finish off that video. Something happened during the recording, so I just had to like cut it off. I was like, because I was already done listening to her mouth. But if you want to go watch it, go to the MSNBC YouTube site and just pull up Kamala Harris or whatever, and you can watch the full interview. But I just wanted to show some of the comments, give my take on a few of the things she said. I just can't sit through much more of it. I tried. Actually, I watched some of it before I ever showed you guys, but the comments is what gave me hope that we're not all lost here. Because anyway, oh my goodness, this is such an important election. I hope people take that into consideration when they go to the voting booth. But anyway, go Trump. I'll be voting Saturday. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Bye.